Okay, today I'm going to talk about a couple of real life mortgage transactions that I was told about this week. They were both FHA loans. One of them resulted in a loan officer being able to save a deal that looked like it was in trouble. And the other, unfortunately, was an FHA loan that got all the way close to the closing table and then is not going to go forward. So to start off with the good news, as many of you know, you may not know this if you're a newer mortgage loan originator, but with FHA, if an applicant has had a 6 month or greater job gap, they need to be back working for at least 6 months before they're eligible for financing. Now, I'm not going to get into the details today about when 6 months is or is not enough, but it has to be a minimum of 6 months. And this particular applicant had always been working, but for the past several years had worked an under the table job, paid in cash, did not fill out a tax return, and was only now recently on a new position. So the loan officer was asking, is there any way to avoid the rule that they have to be back 6 months because they were working even though they don't show it on taxes, don't show it on a W-2. Now, most of the mortgage professionals that responded said it's not going to work. Someone else, however, pointed out that FHA will accept a written verification of income instead of needing a W-2. And the former employer was willing to fill out a written verification of employment. It is something that if I had thought about it a little bit, I might have come up with that answer, but it was a scenario that I haven't seen yet. So now I will be adding that scenario as a deal saver to the Complete 1003 software. So that if you're a newer loan officer and you want to try to be on the ball and learn every place where you can save a deal, it's good to know that because even all the other mortgage professionals that responded said it couldn't be done. So does that mean that every lender, every underwriter will do it? Does it mean that somebody might call HUD and be told no and somebody else call and be told yes? It doesn't mean that it's going to go through 100% of the time and it's something that you can just move ahead with without any thought and just submit it into underwriting. But it's good to have that in the back of your mind that if you run into that scenario and this individual who posted about the written verification of employment had run into the scenario more than one time, had gotten it through, it seemed to me that they were a legitimate source of knowledge. Now, I'm going to talk to you briefly about the loan that unfortunately fell through. The loan officer had taken an application for a husband to buy out his ex-wife in a divorce proceeding. And in order to qualify, the husband also had some other bills that needed to be paid off. Now, there was plenty of room in the value of the house to get it done, but the debt-to-income ratio would not work leaving the bills open. So the loan officer actually was very experienced and just made a small slip up in not noticing that at least one of the borrowers on a new loan, when it's cash out for FHA, has to live in the property for the previous 12 months. And what had happened was the borrower, as part of the divorce proceeding, had been forced to move out of the house for a period of time. As the application sits, the wife now was out of the house. The husband was back in the house and was looking to pay off the ex-wife, which that portion can be done as no cash out. But because paying off the bills converts it to a cash out mortgage, and the husband had not lived in the house for the prior consecutive 12 months, it looks like the loan is going to die in underwriting. Now, the mistake the loan officer made, she thought that the way the guideline read, it was one of the owners had to live in the house, not one of the borrowers. So the wife had been on title, but had not been an actual borrower on the existing mortgage. Now, had she been, it would have been fine, and they could have done cash out, but she hadn't been on the mortgage. And so now the loan is not going to make it. Now, it's important to point out in this case, the loan officer is very experienced. And I'm sure they're a good loan officer, and no one's omniscient and no one's beyond mistake. And I know this loan officer was really beating herself up a lot because she had misread the guideline. But if you're a newer loan officer and you can see the trouble that experienced loan officers can come up with, both not knowing how to save a deal that's potentially savable, as well as sending a file into underwriting that it's going to die, it only shows that you need somebody to be treating every one of your mortgage applications as though it was their own. And on that related topic, unfortunately, I hear every week from loan officers that have been promised the world in terms of support. The folks that are growing their teams, growing their regions, they're wonderful salespeople. Just the way that they're good at selling mortgages, they're good at selling people to come onto their team. So if you're new and you're being promised support, you want to explicitly ask questions like, if it's 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, and I've got a realtor who I've been trying for months to send me a lead, and the realtor does have a borrower contact me or tells me to contact the borrower because they want to take the borrower out to open houses over the weekend, will you be there for me to review the application, to review any documentation that gets sent in? Even if this ends up going into early Friday evening, will you be there for me so that when I tell this realtor that they're pre-approved and they can go ahead and show these people the houses, that the pre-approval will live? Because chances are, if you're new, you're going to be finding out it's very difficult to get leads. You may have been reaching out to realtor after realtor after realtor and not have gotten many leads. Now maybe this realtor decides to give you a chance. Maybe their existing loan officer is on vacation and didn't have the proper backup. But whatever it is, that's the kind of support that you have to have so that you don't either drop the ball or you don't tell the realtor, no, nothing can be done, and then have somebody else do it, because then chances are it's going to take you a long, long time either way to get another lead for the realtor. So if you want to accelerate yourself to the point where you're able to operate independently faster, I don't mean starting from scratch and operating independently. The support is still crucial. But if you'd like to become self-sufficient faster, I have a program at the THEComplete1003.com, or you can reach out to me, Alan, ALAN, at the THEComplete1003.com. Happy to talk with you, provide you these educational materials, also be there to Zoom with you, to try to teach you how to structure deals. And it's tough out there, but it's still a good career if you can make it work. And I wish you all out there the best of luck.